Chapter 1: A Nation Divided. In the 1800s, America was deeply divided. The North was moving toward freedom and industrial growth, while the South depended on slavery to power its cotton plantations. Millions of African Americans were enslaved, living without rights, freedom, or hope. The rise of Abraham Lincoln. In 1861, Abraham Lincoln became president. He was determined to keep the country united, but he also believed slavery was morally wrong. When Southern states seceded to form the Confederacy, the Civil War began. At its heart was the issue of slavery. On January 1, 1863, Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, declaring that all enslaved people in Confederate states were free. But there was a problem. The Confederate states didn't follow Union laws. So freedom, in many places, was just words on paper. Town after town, plantation after plantation, the message rings out: slavery is over. But in Texas, something different was happening, or rather nothing was happening at all. While the rest of the country was moving forward, Texas remained frozen in time, clinging to its dark past. Why? Because the slaveholders made a calculated, cruel decision. They simply didn't tell their enslaved people they were free. Can you imagine that? While others were celebrating their newfound freedom, thousands of people in Texas continued to work in bondage, unaware that they were legally free. With no Union troops nearby to enforce the law, these slaveholders maintained their power through silence and deception. It's a stark reminder of how freedom isn't just about laws being passed. It's about those laws being enforced, about truth being shared, and about justice being upheld. This untold story of Texas shows us how simple information, or the lack of it, can change the course of thousands of lives. A warm summer morning in Galveston, Texas, June 19, 1865. The air was thick with anticipation as Union General Gordon Granger and his 2,000 soldiers marched into town. No one knew it yet, but this day would forever change American history. The Civil War had officially ended months ago, but here in Texas, at the edge of the Confederacy, something extraordinary was about to happen. Many enslaved people had been kept in the dark about their freedom, deliberately denied the news that President Lincoln had signed the Emancipation Proclamation 2.5 years earlier. As General Granger stood before the crowd, his voice rang out clear and strong, announcing General Order Number 3. Those simple yet powerful words echoed through the streets. All slaves are free. Can you imagine hearing those words for the first time? After generations of bondage, after years of hoping and praying, freedom had finally arrived. The news spread like wildfire through the community. Some people danced in the streets while others stood in stunned silence. Some cried tears of joy, while others could hardly believe their ears. It was a day of mixed emotions. Jubilation, confusion, disbelief, and hope all rolled into one historic moment. This day would come to be known as Juneteenth, a testament to the long journey toward freedom, and a reminder that liberty and justice don't always arrive when they should, but they must arrive nonetheless. That summer, newly freed African Americans in Texas held spontaneous celebrations, singing, praying, and feasting. They called it Juneteenth, a blend of June and 19th. It became a day of reflection, joy, and pride, passed down through generations.
Enjoying the video, correct? Make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. Please leave your feedback, hit like, share the content.
When freedom finally came, Black Texans weren't just content with celebration, they took action. Communities pooled their money together to buy land specifically for Juneteenth gatherings. These spaces became sacred ground, where families could come together to honor their ancestors and celebrate their liberty. But the road ahead wasn't easy. Despite emancipation, Black Americans faced brutal racism, segregation in every aspect of life, and horrific violence. They were free on paper, but society still tried to keep them bound in invisible chains. Yet through it all, Juneteenth stood as a powerful symbol of resistance. Every year, as communities gathered to celebrate, they weren't just remembering the past. They were declaring their humanity, preserving their culture, and passing down stories of survival to the next generation. In the face of oppression, these celebrations became acts of defiance. Through music, food, storytelling, and prayer, Black Americans demonstrated that their spirit could not be broken. Juneteenth reminded them that even in the darkest times, hope and freedom would always find a way to shine through. That's why Juneteenth isn't just about remembering when freedom arrived, It's about honoring the strength, resilience, and unbreakable spirit of a people who refuse to let their culture and dignity be stripped away. For over a century, Juneteenth remained a cherished but largely local celebration in Texas. The story of freedom finally reaching enslaved people in Galveston on June 19, 1865, echoed through generations of Texas families, passed down like precious heirlooms. As Black Americans marched for equality, fought against segregation, and demanded their full rights as citizens, Juneteenth took on a new meaning. It wasn't just about remembering the past anymore, it became a rallying cry for the present. Black activists and community leaders recognized that the promise of freedom delivered on that day in 1865 was still unfulfilled. They saw in Juneteenth a powerful symbol of both how far America had come and how far it still needed to go. The celebration began spreading beyond Texas borders, carrying with it stories of resilience, hope, and the ongoing struggle for true equality. Today, Juneteenth reminds us that freedom isn't just a moment in time. It's a continuous journey toward justice that each generation must carry forward. It's a day that connects our past to our present and points the way toward a more equitable future.
Enjoying the video, correct? Make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. Please leave your feedback, hit like, share the content.
Have you ever wondered why some holidays take so long to be officially recognized? Let me tell you about Juneteenth, a celebration that was nearly a century in the making. For generations, Black communities across America commemorated this important day, passing down its significance from one family to another, sharing stories, hosting celebrations, and keeping the memory alive. But here's the thing. It wasn't until 1980 that Texas, the very state where Juneteenth originated, finally made it an official state holiday. That's right. It took 115 years after the original events of June 19, 1865, for this recognition to come. After Texas led the way, other states began to follow, but the pace was slow, like molasses in winter. Then came 2020, a year that changed everything. Following nationwide protests for racial justice, something remarkable happened. The momentum built, voices grew louder, and in 2021, Juneteenth finally received the recognition it deserved. It's a powerful reminder that change may take time, but persistence and unity can make history. Imagine a summer day in Texas, June 19, 1865. The air thick with anticipation as Union soldiers arrive with news that would change everything. That day, known as Juneteenth, marks when the last enslaved Americans finally learned of their freedom, 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. But why do we still celebrate this day? It's more than just a historical milestone. Juneteenth reminds us of the bittersweet nature of freedom, how it can be promised, yet delayed. It tells the story of resilience, of people who held on to hope even when justice seemed distant. Today, Juneteenth brings communities together. From backyard barbecues to street festivals, from storytelling sessions to educational programs, it's a time when we honor those who came before us, celebrate how far we've come, and acknowledge how far we still need to go. This isn't just African American history, it's American history. Each Juneteenth celebration writes a new chapter in our ongoing story of freedom, equality, and justice. Because while freedom arrived late that day in Texas, its promise continues to unfold, reminding us that the journey toward true equality is one we all share.